Good afternoon, Periscope friends and homeschool moms. Hello! It's Monday, and I haven't been on here in a while. I find it difficult to Periscope on the weekends. We're out and about, and I don't like to be on without Wi-Fi. Hi, Jenny. Oh, I have someone that wants to say hi. So, whoop. We don't usually let our little ones run around naked, but I guess today is a little bit of an exception. It's just a crazy Monday. So I wanted to hop on. Hi, it's nice to see you. I wanted to hop on and give a little bit of a glance at my homeschool plans for 2015-16. This is going to, yours is napping, mine never naps. Okay. My name is Lisa, and I blog at CreativLEI.com. I can be found all around social media, usually going by at CreativLEI, or Facebook page is also CreativLEI. It's a little bit noisy here. I have my two youngest down here, and they're playing Wii and just being young children. So bear with me. If it gets too chaotic, I will go ahead and close out the broadcast and continue again later. But I want to give you a little bit of a glance of what we have going on. This year is going to be like a huge year of transition for us. This is our 6th year at home. I have 6 children in my household. Previously, I've had 5 children that are of schooling age that have been homeschooled. But this coming year, 3 of my children will be entering the public school. 2 of them will be entering for the first time, and 1 will be returning into the 8th grade, which is a new adventure for us to have kind of a mixed bag of students at home. And so it will be a great challenge to balance both the homeschooling and the public schooling, and finding the dance that will be between after schoolwork and things like that, in addition to our normal extracurricular things and stuff like that. And I'll be blogging about why we've made that decision for the 3 that are entering school, because I'm certain there will be some curiosity about that. But for my husband and I, when we first began to homeschool, when that became the step that we were going into, it was when our oldest 2 children were finishing 2nd grade and kindergarten. And when we pulled them out of public school and brought them home, we approached homeschooling with the attitude that we were not going to make a decision once for their entire academic career. We were going to address each child and each year individually and meet their needs where they were, each child. But somewhere along the lines in these past 6 years, we kind of got lost in the doing of the homeschooling, and we've lost a lot of the joy and the excitement of it. And not that all academics needs to be joy and excitement, but we want to get out of survival mode and into thriving. And our oldest child, hi Becca, our oldest child asked to return to public school. He wants to go in for high school, but doesn't want to go directly into high school. So he asked to go in for 8th grade, and we're fully supportive of that. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for all of us. You started school today. Our plan is not to start until August 31st. That is actually the first day of school for our county schools also. So we're all going to start on the same day, which will be a new thing for us because we've not followed the school schedule in a long time. But that will be one of our challenges this year. So I'm going to flip you around so I can give you kind of a glance at some of the things that we'll be using. I have tried many different methods of homeschooling. Our first year at home, we were following the classical model using Tapestry of Grace, and it was overwhelming for us. Classical was something that I had a heart for, but my children did not respond well to it, and I found that with such a mixed group of ages in our home, it became very difficult, and we were not meeting any of the goals that we had set as a family. And so we stepped back from that. But then the following year, we lost our youngest daughter, and that made all of school kind of go out the window. We were using Heart of Dakota at the time, which was a saving grace because it gave us kind of just step by step what to do. So we were able to just pick up things where we left off when we were able to sit and do schooling. But that became, for us, for a large family with many different levels within our home, it was hard to juggle the different schedules of each of those levels effectively. It seemed like if we gave the good attention to one child and had them really succeeding in their level, then the other children were not getting the same sufficiency. So we stepped out of that and we moved back into eclectic homeschooling. Shh, Annalise. We were very eclectic homeschoolers last year. I had a mismatch of all the great things that are available to homeschoolers now because we have nothing if not choices in homeschooling. And so last year we just kind of played with a little bit of everything, trying to find what things really meshed with my teaching style, their learning style, and just kind of tried a few different things out. And now this year, we're kind of stepping back from formal curriculum. I will have a 5th grader and a 6th grader at home. It's incredible how much is out there. But it's almost to the point where there's so much out there that it's hard to really focus in on the few things that would be really good for each different family. So this year what we're doing is, and these are just my initial notes, so it's a little sloppy and I'll neaten it up over the next couple weeks. I'm going to flip you around so I can show you. So this is my art desk. It's a little bit messy because I've been having some fun lately. You agree too, and you are an eclectic homeschooler also. It's hard to not be eclectic. I think even those that follow Charlotte Mason method or classical or traditional end up being a little bit eclectic because of how many resources are out there. And you really don't want to say no to everything because you never know when something outside of the methodology or genre that you follow might be actually what you're looking for. So I will have a 5th grade girl and a 6th grade boy at home this year. Can you open that for her and give her her coloring book? So what we're doing is my son has really enjoyed the I Survived book series. They are historical fiction books that are based on its stories of children surviving these natural disasters, things. I went to the library the other week and you'll pardon my 2-year-old's notes on my papers. And so they go all the way from Pompeii to the Henryville tornado in 2012. And so by going through all these books, we've got the sinking of the Titanic, the Boston flood in 1919, the Japanese tsunami in 2011, the Nazi invasion of 44, September 11th, 2001, Gettysburg. So we have all these this historical fiction books. Yeah, my boys have really enjoyed them, and even this is my son who was a struggling reader. These books gave him a love and a hunger for reading, and so we're going to run with it. And so this will be, I'll read these stories out loud, and the chapters are not long, so we'll see as we begin how many chapters we'll address in a day. We default to unschooling. It's never been my plan, but we default to unschooling. So I'm trying to do unschooling with a bit of a loose plan for the type B that I am. And so we'll read through chapters, but then we'll allow these books to propel us into other studies. When we talk about Gettysburg, we'll talk more about the Civil War and slavery and things like that. So we will bring in our social studies into our reading. My library has almost all of the titles, which has been wonderful because it'll save us a little bit on the budget also. And then we have things like Hurricane Katrina or the San Francisco earthquake, and those will give us opportunities to dive into science studies also. We'll start to pull out books and look at websites for hurricanes and earthquakes or tsunamis. When we talk about the Nazi invasion, that will bring us through World War II and what led up to that. And then piggybacking with the I Survived books, with my 5th grade daughter, she very much loves the American Girl books. And so what I did was, and like I said, this was just my rough draft, and so now I'll neaten this up and kind of pair the two together. So what I went through was the historical characters, and I wrote down their year and also the location or the major event that those books are centered around. And so I will try to pair up as many of the I Survived and American Girl books as I can. But with me reading them out loud, I'm not concerned with my son feeling like he's reading girl books or my daughter feeling like she's reading boy books, because it's going to be a story that I read out loud, and then they will be able to look up the additional resources at the library and pull books for those events or those topics. When we talk about Kaya, we'll look into Native American Indians. We've got the pioneers and developing the country. So I see a lot of opportunity for us to grow through this year. And so the neat thing about the I Survived books is that some of those events are international. And of course, American Girl would be our own country's history. And then another thing that my library has, lap books for American Girl, that would be fun. My daughter does enjoy notebooking and journaling, so I think we're going to move along with that. I'm considering doing like Mackenzie of Bold Turquoise when she talks about her children using the traveler's notebooks. I love my traveler's notebooks, and so now I'm considering what I will do for the children this year, whether I will do wide style traveler's notebooks for them or create notebook covers for composition books, which is what we've used in the past. So as I was saying, most of these resources, these books, I am able to get at our library. We have an incredible library system up here in Carroll County, and anything that they don't have, they will happily order for us. It's a very homeschool-friendly library. It's just been wonderful. So one of the other resources I found there was the series by Joy Hakim, I'm not certain of the pronunciation, but it's A History of Us. And so this is kind of like a way for me to go back and timeline things with the children. So this is from prehistory to the 1600s, but this series actually spans up to modern day. And it's just got some great, like almost encyclopedia of information. But it's engaging. It's got some information tidbits for them to look at. So if we talk about an international event, we'll be able to go in and say, okay, what was going on in our country in the same year? So we'll tie things in together that way. So that was the first Americans, and now this is the Age of Extremes, which leads into the Great Depression. So it's just, I found that these books were very interesting to look at, even for myself. So this talked about the Chicago Fire, which is one of the I Survived books. I believe the Blizzard is in here too, of the 1800s. And so I thought that this was a good way to take some books that they're already interested in and kind of supplement and create what we need to fill in the gaps throughout the rest of the year. So there you have a peek. For math, we use Life of Fred because it's the least textbooky math, and all of our children who have used Life of Fred have found that appealing, and the retention that we're finding with Life of Fred is very good. I have those on the shelf, so let me flip ya. Okay, so this is our quite extensive basic library for homeschooling, and I will humbly admit to you that most of these books have not even been cracked open, and which is why we're moving away from formal curricula, because we just don't tend to use it. We've got great resources at our fingertips, but we don't dive into these. We do not find that we gravitate towards them. We gravitate more towards Unschool-y type things. So they like to look things up on the internet or at the library. So we have the whole series of Life of Fred up to fractions, and then we move into video text algebra. But I found that Life of Fred has been good for all of them. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll show you. The presentation is really neat since it's a story. It's the story of Fred. But each chapter covers a number of topics, so it's unlike any other curriculum that's out there where it would be mastery or a spiral method. It really just kind of weaves in math through real life story or a fictional life story. So they'll learn circle, ellipse, telling time, days of the week, facts about February, warmer clothes. I remember talking deciduous trees and evergreen, curvy versus straight lines. We've got some early algebra introduction. So we've really enjoyed the Fred series. And so there you have it. There's our very, very informal, unschoolish homeschool plan. And like I said in the beginning, this year is a year of transition for us as 3 children enter public school. 1 will be returning and 2 will be entering for the first time. And so we'll have quite a bit to juggle, and I'll be chronicling that, I'm certain, because I know that it will be challenges. I've shared with others that I know it's going to be good. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but I know that the result at the end of this year will be good because we're all going to learn something. And we will all be stretched and grown for certain. So if you have any questions for me, I'll give you a minute to go ahead and type them, and I'll answer the best that I can. And this year, one of my friends will be homeschooling for the first time, and she's asked if I would teach an art class monthly. And so now that I'll have a slight bit more time because some of my children will be out of the house during the day, teaching art is something that I can do on occasion. So I'm looking forward to putting together some lessons to help teach art to other children in the area. So maybe I'll periscope some of those. If you're interested in some art lessons, let me know what type of things you're looking for. I do a varied amount of media for art. I do creative lettering, painting, that type of things. Yeah, online class would be great. But it's funny because with my children home and with me, an artist, we hardly ever got to art. In our homeschool, we got so busy doing history and reading, or not even history, reading and math tended to be the subjects that we just would get so bogged down in that we would never get to formal art training. My children have free access to all our art supplies, and so they were able to draw and create and do crafty things, but I did not really spend the time instructing them on art just because we never got around to it. And so I'm looking forward to reclaiming some of that time without the hassle of fighting with children that do not want to be at home for schooling. So that's just a little peek into our household and the decisions that we've made for this coming year. So there you have it. I won't keep you long. Look forward to talking more about our school plan as it unfolds, and I'll be watching some of your scopes. If you've hashtagged them, I'll be looking for them. Mine will be available on Catch later. Yes, and my 2-year-old will be doing her very toddler unschooly things. We have a sensory table for her. I just need to get another baby pool to stick it in because the children took the pool outside this summer and have not brought it in, but that was wonderful to hold her table. So we put this sensory table together. It's just PVC pipes and one of the Rubbermaid bins. So right now she just has her measuring cups and things in there. She doesn't have the beans or anything because without it being in the pool. She gets everything all over the place. Yeah, toddler Zillas make it challenging. They do. I blogged about schooling with a toddler last year. She doesn't nap, so it's definitely one of the greater challenges. Even if I address her in the morning by reading or doing crafts with her, she definitely has the potential of derailing any progress that we make during the day. So she does have a little desk, and she's got coloring books. I've laminated some of the coloring pages that I've made, so she has a notebook. I think she's hiding. What are you doing, Annalise? What you doing? So, sorry, there you have it. So that's us. That's our homeschool plan and our basic schooling plan for 2015-2016. And I will keep you posted and updated on how it's all going. Thank you. Her daddy is an engineer. Her mommy is an artist. So all of our children are an interesting blend of both my husband and I. So it's neat to watch them grow as people. They're all good at taking things apart and putting together other designs. Not necessarily those that I would have in mind, but it's been fun. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your questions and encouragement. If you know someone that might be interested in kind of a loose and flowy homeschool plan, go ahead and share this broadcast with them. And that way they can follow along as we learn along the way. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you. You too. I'm glad you got started today. I hope you have a great week, because I find that the excitement and the successes of those first few weeks really do help to encourage you through the coming year. So I hope you've got a great year coming. We've got 3.5 more weeks to plan before we get started. I will talk to you all later. Have a great afternoon.